Can you see it well? Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to this webinar organized by CIVICA, the European University of the Social Sciences. We're an alliance of 10 universities. And today we would like to present to you study programs and professional perspectives in the area of sustainability. So if you're quite interested in a career in sustainability, we will tell you a bit more about this. Oh, I seem to have also hit the transcription button. So I will maybe start by introducing our speakers today. We're quite happy to have representatives from 3 universities sorry, I'll just stop transcription because it's quite annoying. We have representatives from 3 universities here today. Veronica Sulo, who is graduate guidance and recruitment manager at Bocconi University in Milan, Italy. We have Trisha Kershaw, who is a student in the Master of International Affairs at the Hertie School, and who is also a student assistant in our Center for Sustainability, and Isabella de Alcázar, who is Chief Sustainability Officer at IE University in Madrid, Spain. And my name is Enora Palarik, and I'm the CIVICA manager at the Hertie School here in Berlin. So today, as I mentioned, we'll talk a bit more about what we do in our universities related to sustainability. But I wanted first to introduce a bit more our Alliance CIVICA and what we do, in particular in the area of sustainability. So CIVICA has, as I mentioned, 10 member universities. We have very prestigious universities in the social sciences in 9 countries, Bocconi University, Central European University in Austria, European University Institute as well in Italy, but in Florence, the Hertie School in Germany, IE University in Spain, SNSPA in Romania, in Bucharest, Sciences Po in Paris, in France, the Warsaw School of Economics in Warsaw in Poland, and the Stockholm School of Economics in Sweden, and the London School of Economics and Political Science in the United Kingdom. Together, we really work towards creating an inter-university campus, but also towards addressing current and emerging challenges, using existing and new means for and approaches to education, research, and outreach in the social sciences. And our objective is really to give the next generations of Europeans the knowledge and the tools to understand and influence an increasingly complex world. And that includes, of course, the goals of sustainability. In fact, we have 4 thematic priorities. And one of these thematic priorities is societies and transition and crisis of Earth. So we have specialist experts in the field working together towards finding solutions, but we also have, sorry, is there a question? No. And we also have offers in these areas for students. So as I mentioned, we're working towards a European inter-university campus, and we have different offers for different levels. So for instance, at the level of the master's degree, we start offering from next academic year a multi-campus course that includes most of our universities teaching online a class, bringing experts in sustainability to talk about the road towards the green transition. So that's one example of the things we do together. But we also have a monthly seminar series that is also focused on the topic of sustainability and more research-oriented, for instance. So there are quite a lot of offers that we do together, but also individually in our institutions. And we also exchange knowledge on sustainability and had recently also a first meeting of a sustainability board to try to work together towards solutions on our campuses to become more sustainable ourselves, and not just in our teaching, but also in our everyday life. And we also discuss this important topic today. So without further ado, I would like to open the floor to our experts here around the table. And please feel free to also ask your questions in the chat. We have a time for a Q&A in the end, but you can also at any time ask your question in the chat. We have also around here colleagues who are also admission experts in our universities and can also tell you a bit more about how to apply, what are the deadlines, etc. But we also, of course, tell you a bit more. So I would like to give the floor to Veronica from Bocconi University, who will present a bit more what Bocconi University does in Milan. I stopped sharing so that you can share your screen as well. Yes. Thank you, Veronica.
You can see it now.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. So you can see the new part of our campus that was built in 2020 of Bocconi University in Milano, Italy. The campus has already, just to start, I mean, I would like just to provide you with a few information about the sustainability items into our campus. The new campus has been ranked first for the carbon footprint. The material here it has been built with has been sustainable and resourced and also regionally sourced. Sustainability at Bocconi is something that embraces all the items of our campus, from the students to the facilities to the contents and to the everyday life. For sure, and I will get to the point that is most interesting for students here, is what the future and present job world are expecting from universities, from institutions, and from new generations. One other point at Bocconi campus is also related to social responsibility. We have a special Dean's List and recognitions for students who get involved in volunteering or social responsibility activities. This is again a very important matter. I would say that compared to many years ago, also the figure of finance students, Wolf of Wall Street, has been changing, and now it's also ethics and sustainability are very important. If I can add one more information, I think new generations are much more committed and interested in this such topics, and so it's good also for companies and universities to offer this type of possibilities. In terms of what Bocconi offers, we have a master in transformative sustainability that is a joint degree with the Polytechnic of Milano. It's a 2-year master where you explore both the environmental engineering side of sustainability and also the business strategy matters, ranging from, of course, all the areas that sustainability permeates into a company, starting from operations, supply chain, design, and products, but also sustainable business models. So I would say that this is what the job world is looking for. This is just what an example of an article on how Kering Group, the fashion luxury group, has chosen the students coming out of this master for internship of job opportunities. As said, the job world is already looking for professionals that are not only technically aware of the, let's say, topics of sustainability, but can also bring innovation and sustainable matters into their everyday job life. A few information, sorry, there are 2 more programs where you can approach sustainability matters in the forms of management of government and international organization and or management of innovation and technology. I don't know if I still have time. I just wanted to show you quickly the application deadlines. For all our programs, we require GMAT, GRE, or the Bocconi test, your GPA, and your CV and personal statement. Bocconi also offers a lot of merit scholarship, full scholarship, and we support many students. I think I'm over. You can screenshot our contact details, and I think I can give the floor to the next university.
Thank you so much, Veronica. And of course, if you have questions specifically addressed to Veronica, do not hesitate to also ask in the chat or contact her after. So now we'll go to the Hertie School with Trisha, who is also a current student actually at the Hertie School in the master's program. So she can also tell you a bit more from the student perspective. And sorry, I'm just going to share the slide. Yes.
Great, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here and talk a little bit about the Hertie School and sustainability here and our Center for Sustainability. So I think I can actually move the slides myself. Oh, perfect. Did that work or? Great. So just a little background on me. My name is Trisha. I actually come from Canada, and I'm a second-year master's student at the Hertie School. I mainly focus on international climate policy, and I'm currently doing my master's thesis on carbon pricing and the effects of far-right parties on attitudes for carbon pricing. So it's just a little bit about me, but I'm excited to continue to talk a little bit about my experience in Hertie and sustainability. Next slide.
Can you see it?
Yes. Okay, great. So the Hertie School is a public policy school based in Berlin. We're in the heart of the city, in the capital city of Germany. We offer 2-year master's degrees programs and an executive master's in public administration, as well as PhD programs. So our master's programs are very interdisciplinary, and so the curriculum is based on different fields of insight: economics, statistics, data science, political science, sociology, and more. We have 3 distinct master's programs: the Master's of Public Policy, International Affairs, and Data Science. But there is an opportunity, if you are in one of the master's programs, to take courses in other fields as well. And one of the really great things is that the student body is incredibly international, and all of our programs are in English. Next slide. So I'll talk a little bit about sustainability at the Hertie School. And so we have a Center for Sustainability that essentially was established in the spring of 2021. And it was, sorry, I'm just getting my notes out here. A lot of it is our sustainability offerings, including our teaching curriculum, as well as research events, career development, and mentoring programs, are all connected to the Center for Sustainability. And it's one of our 5 centers of competence at the Hertie School. The center is essentially a hub for all of the work at the Hertie School on sustainability. And so it's very comprehensive and very great. Yep. To the next slide. Just gonna, perfect. What's important to know about studying sustainability at the Hertie School is that our training for students is really focused on equipping them with both academic knowledge as well as practical skills that they can bring into their future careers. And so one of our main goals is to, as said here, like prepare students to tackle the most important sustainability challenges of our times. And we look at like multiple levels of governance, multiple sectors, and different economic, political, and administrative ways of dealing with challenges and sustainability. And so, as you can see here, we have a wide variety of courses that reflect very real policy challenges and are very specific topics. And so this is like a sample sort of curriculum of someone who would be interested in studying sustainability at the Hertie School. And so I can tell you, like, I've actually personally taken a couple of these courses, like the International Climate Dialogue with the practitioner, Climate Crisis and Human Rights, as well as the Managing Mineral Wealth course. They're all incredibly interesting, and they're all taught by very high-level practitioners in the field. And so you're getting a very real-world perspective when you're diving into these topics. I believe that the Mineral Wealth course was taught by someone who recently lobbied for the mining sector, and so she has a very big knowledge on Monica Weberfa on these topics, and it's incredibly interesting to get that firsthand knowledge, as well as we have some really reputable faculty in our Center for Sustainability itself, like Leon Hert and Kristen Flaxland, who are both very, very involved with the German government, and they both advise on key climate and energy matters for the German government. So that's a very interesting people that we get to learn from, and I think that students really benefit from learning about these real situations and challenges in climate policy. I can go to the next slide. And something that we do have, while we don't have a specific sustainability program or stream, what we have is the certificate in sustainability. And so essentially it allows students who have taken sustainability courses and wrote their master's thesis on a sustainability topic to be able to get this recognition in their diploma, I believe, or it's a separate certificate that they can get and put on their resume that they did these courses and that they focused on sustainability at the Hertie School. So it's a good initiative, I believe. And the next thing we have, so apart from just the studying in the school, we have like other programs that are meant to highlight sustainability activities for students and mentor students who are interested in the field. So we have a couple of mentoring programs. There is the Women in Sustainability Mentoring Program, which I actually am part of, as well as a master thesis mentoring program where students can mentor with a alumni from the Hertie School to be able to help them with their master's thesis, which is really interesting, as well as a series of networking events that we have. And so a lot of these events will be run by our career development program here at Hertie. And they bring a lot of alumni, a lot of companies in Berlin. Since Berlin is the capital of Germany, we have access to a lot of really great organizations here in the city. And so a lot of them do come to Hertie and sort of market themselves to students. And then the last thing we do is a series of policy events and colloquiums, just meant on like very interesting high-level lectures for students to learn about different topics. We fly in researchers and activists from across the world to come to Hertie and speak. Last week, we had a researcher from Brazil talking about forest management, and then we also had an activist come from the Philippines online to talk about her climate activism. So we have a lot of really cool programs and other offerings. And yeah, and more activities that we have. So we have a student-based sustainability club at Hertie that's very well organized. It's a pillar of our club system here, very much a platform for student-driven and focused events and initiatives at the Hertie School. They do sustainable finance workshops, career workshops. They bring in speakers. They host clothing swaps for students, as well as they do like advocacy within the school to make the school more sustainable. And we also actually do a little bit of educational advocacy where they lobby for changes in the curriculum to make it more sustainable, more diverse. We also have the Green Campus Initiative. So this is just a permanent body that includes representatives from the school, but as well as students to essentially make the campus more green, reduce our environmental footprint and impact, as well as advise on the restoration and renovation of our new campus that should be starting in 2025. If someone from Hertie can confirm that for me. And that's that. And lastly, I'll just talk a little bit about our alumni. So our alumni are incredibly diverse. As you can see, we have 60% who end up in the private sector, 10% in academia, and then 30% in the public sector. So for the private sector, we see a lot of people working in businesses, especially doing like sustainability programs, ESG programs, things like that. Of course, many in think tanks and research organizations, consultancies. We see NGOs as well. And then for academia, a lot of people continue to do their PhDs or work in specific research centers, universities. And of course, Hertie also offers a PhD program, so many people do go back into that. And then lastly, we have a numerous amount of alumni who are in the public sector, especially in the German government, working in various ministries like our Ministry for Environment, Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, as well as working in local governments. We also see many alumni working in international organizations like the UNFCCC, the OECD, World Bank, things like that, and of course regional and national banks. All right, and so this is, I think, my last slide, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can also scan this QR code to learn, join our newsletter and learn more about what we do at the Center for Sustainability, but at the Hertie School in general. And if you have any more questions, you can reach out to the center manager. You can also reach out to me. Maybe I should put my email there somewhere, but we can also connect on various social media. And I think the last slide, yes. So we do have our master's program deadline is coming up May 1st. There's still a little bit of time to apply. So if you are interested, you can ask me some questions and you can look at the website right here.
Thank you so much, Tricia. And now, of course, we do not want to miss the Madrid presentation with sustainability at IE University. And thank you so much, Isabella, for joining us. You're very knowledgeable since you're the Chief Sustainability Officer at the university. So please, here's your presentation. Oh, sorry, we cannot hear. Sorry, you're muted.
Yes, thank you very much. Enora, how about I raise my hand every time that you that I need you to change slide?
Yes,
Is that okay with you? Yes, thank you. Okay, so thank you for coming. So about our university, we have three campuses. You have the photos here of the three campuses. Two of them are in Madrid, the IE Tower, and then our classic campus in Maria de Molina. The Maria de Molina campus is focused on master programs, and the other two campuses, the convent in Segovia, which is an amazing place to go for year ones and twos. Really recommend it to live the full experience. And then we have the IE Tower, which is of course very attractive for many of our students. So I like to share with everyone our purpose, because I tend to say that I need to protect the IE purpose. So our purpose is fostering positive change through education, research, and innovation. That's really like a motto. Every time that I tend to talk to professors or to staff members inside the university, I tell them, how is it that you really can transform the students inside the classrooms, and how do you feel that you can contribute for this world to be better, no? And also to give support with knowledge and competences to the market that will hire all of our students eventually, no? So we need to prepare them with the best competences ever. So how we understand sustainability at our university is basically like this positive change that we bring to society. And what we wanted is, when back in 2019, we said, how can this sustainable transformation be for the university? And basically we were saying, okay, we need to transform our operations, because this is the only way that whatever we transmit inside the classroom will have an effect, no? So that's what we call like walking the talk, talking the walk. We have to be coherent. So we've been working in sustainability around three main pillars. One of the first one is the sustainable campus, that's basically sustainable operations, and also transformation of the culture of the people inside the university, not only students, but also our faculty and our staff members. And the other two main pillars were teaching content and research, of course, which is basically what all of us as universities do, no? So we have this that we call the 10-year plan. Each year we have a challenge. And for the last 4 years, the challenges have been responsible consumption, community building, carbon footprint, and accessibility. So we've been working, and I have an example of, for example, some of the results of our responsible consumption challenge, which was, we started this challenge back in 2020. And you might see the graphs are not looking amazing. Well, you have to believe me that we've been reducing considerably our water consumption, our supplies. You can see here how we've been working a lot on reducing our energy consumption. You see there's a peak in 2021. That's because we increased our size, because we incorporated the IE tower. But overall, we've been working on efficiency, on culture, on changing habits, and so on. And eventually we decided to become carbon neutral, but not after a long work or a lot of work on efficiency and so on. So another important goal for us was, of course, it's important to have specialized programs and pathways inside of the different programs, but we wanted to widespread sustainability into the core. We were very, very happy last year. We got amazing results on the rankings, and that's been hard work in collaboration with all of the units. I mean, strategy, operations, finance, and so on, trying to integrate sustainability into the daily classrooms in whatever programs. No, so we were recognized last year. This year, we're already in the good track with some good results in the rankings also. And maybe we go to the slide with the 3. Well, thank you, Nora. The next one, sorry. So that's about widespreading sustainability into all programs. Of course, there are some students that are willing to increase their knowledge, a little bit more of depth, and for that we have in most of our master programs certificates in sustainability that you can take through your electives. Okay, so if you are doing a master's in law, you can do a certificate in sustainability. The same would happen if you're doing a master's in international relations or an MBA. Okay, so you can go for a certificate. And on top of that, there are full-time programs devoted to sustainability. We are launching this year, this September, our new Masters in Sustainability and Business Transformation. This is a master's program from our business school, and it's basically focused on those, I would say, young professionals that want to work in the private sector and want to have more knowledge on sustainability, reporting, strategy, sustainable finance, and so on. So it gives you a really broad overview and on how business should transition to gain a competitive advantage. And we launched this September, thinking of, I thought of bringing 2 examples of full-time programs. We have a full-time bachelor, 4 years bachelor program in environmental sciences for sustainability. And it's an amazing program for those that are willing to do a science program, but hands-on and would be willing to work eventually also in the private sector or well, I mean, the opportunities are very wide. You could even do some research and PhD programs after this bachelor. And just to finish, I also want to highlight that research inside our university is very important. I've been a researcher myself. I have a PhD actually in molecular biology. So we really value research. I mean, having solid researchers at the end of the day brings value to the classroom because they research on some of their time, but they are afterwards your professors, and that's something we value a lot. We have I think it's around 10 research units on sustainability inside the university, focused on centers, chairs, and observatories, and that's it. We are here for questions. Basically, our goal as a university is to lighten the path, and that's very aspirational, but it's what we believe in, to lighten the path for those that are seeking to understand the world and making it a better place. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Isabella, for this very insightful presentation. So I'd like actually to stay with you and ask you the first question. Now we're opening a bit the floor for a roundtable around different topics related to sustainability and not only study programs, but also career perspectives. And maybe let's first start by defining a bit more what we're talking about, because sustainability has become some sort of a buzzword and can mean lots of things, but it's often hard for students or prospective students to understand exactly what we mean and how it can actually become a field of study and a field of career. So Isabella, how do we define sustainability in an academic context, and what are the main goals and challenges we face?
So it's a very difficult question. So I'll share what we understand as sustainability. Okay, the truth is that the world is changing these days at a very high rate speed. Okay, so there are lots of things changing. We hear about climate change. We hear about social issues. Okay, the truth is that change has happened throughout the 4.6 billion years that the Earth is going on, but now the rate is accelerating. Okay. So we need to adapt to the new reality. And for me, sustainability is basically this strategy of adapting for continuity. Okay, so for persistence, it's basically the synonym of sustainability is being there, no, kind of. So we are adapting depending on which is your area of expertise. If you are a law student, you need to you will be working around new norms, directives, new regulations. Okay, so that. And that will be your motivation. No? So that would be sustainability for you. If you are a business person, you will be working in companies that are trying to adapt, first to mitigate their footprint, and secondly to adapt their processes to continue being competitive. Okay, again, continuity. So depending on the framework, sustainability will mean different things, but it's adapting to these changing times.
Thank you so much. And now, Veronica, I'd like to ask you why sustainability is becoming increasingly important in the business world, also from what you're observing at Bocconi University, being also, as a very reputable university in business and economics.
Well, in a certain way, I agree with what Isabella described since now, because there are several, facets of sustainability, starting from products, but also processes in the HR in the organization, but also in the production of materials, in the supply chain, the famous 0 kilometers, food when you go to a restaurant. So there are really several ways. In a way, I think that a lot of companies need to address to a generation that is very sensitive, as I said, to these topics. So all type of products now need to have some sort of sustainable or social impact. If you also think about all the campaigns that many brands do. So I think that a new generation can provide a big impact into companies, and that's also why they are waiting for younger generations also to maybe be more sensitive and help us solve these issues.
Thank you so much. And now maybe to move to a student perspective, Trisha, as a current student in the Master of International Affairs at the Hertie School, why did you decide to focus your studies on sustainability? drove you to this particular topic?
Yes, and thank you for the question. I think for me, sustainability has always been very interesting to me personally. I'm also incredibly passionate about the environment, and I think a lot of young people are seeing the effects of climate change and starting to realize how much of a pressing issue it is of our time. And like Veronica mentioned, it's affecting all aspects of society, and sustainability will need to be practiced in almost every single sector. And so we can see the need for sustainability professionals and policymakers. And so that's another reason why I was so keen on pursuing this program. And I'm also very lucky to be at an institution or a group of institutions that focus on sustainability studies and creating climate and energy focused policy courses and initiatives and things like that. And so,
thank you. And it's interesting you mentioned that every sector has to adapt to sustainability, because one of these sectors is higher education. So as higher education institutions ourselves, and you already mentioned this in your presentations, we also have to adapt to these challenges. And I think the 3 universities present are really invested in this topic, and not just in the teaching and the study programs, what they teach, but also in the day-to-day life of the campus. So I'd like now maybe to ask you a bit more on the specific topics, and maybe let's start with Bocconi University. So Veronica, how does Bocconi integrate the environmental, social, and governance goals into the campus and also the study programs?
Well, I think that we have, first of all, to show in our everyday life that we are very sensitive to the matter. So from the solar panels to the water fountains to the reduction of paper waste, these are all things that we try also as a staff to perform in our everyday life. The other point is helping students, again, the younger generation, to understand how they can make an impact through studies, different type of studies, as Tricia pointed out, from policy making to engineering. There are several ways on how they can make an impact. So all the services that also Tricia described about student associations or about particular courses, or the certificates that Isabella mentioned, are all ways to infuse, I think, an interest and an attention to these topics to the younger generations.
Thank you so much. And Tricia, apart from the courses, so you mentioned also the curriculum of the Hertie School, and some of the opportunities, but maybe could you describe a bit more what are the opportunities for students who want to get involved in sustainability topics outside of the classroom?
yes. So as I mentioned before, like we have many programs, like extracurricular activities and programs for students, like the various mentorship programs, getting involved in our Green Campus Committee. I think that's a pretty big aspect of Hertie right now, is trying to make the campus more sustainable, trying to lower carbon emissions at Hertie, but also while we're renovating our new campus as well. So there is a space for student voices in that, as well as we have like the Sustainability Club and other clubs and initiatives that are very, very active. I find that also Hertie students are also incredibly active outside of Hertie and in the Berlin bubble. So we have a lot of connections with youth organizations and groups like Fridays for Future Deutschland and other Berlin student unions that are doing, and as well, there's a CIVICA Green Student Union that Hertie is also a part of. And so there's a lot of really interesting and cool options outside of the classrooms as well. And of course, we at the Center for Sustainability also have a variety of programs like our networking events, like our sustainability colloquiums and lecture series, where students really do engage and participate in them, which is another great part.
Thank you so much. So now turning to Isabella for IE University. So you presented this very overarching vision of sustainability on your campus. Could you name some best practices and examples of sustainability initiatives and projects that you implemented at IE University?
Thank you. So it's very complex when it comes to sustainability, as the topic is so broad, and I guess other universities have the same issue. Engaging students and the community is challenging, okay, because we all have our own agenda, and therefore, so a couple of years ago we came up with this idea that we call the sustainability town hall. Okay, so basically we have a budget that we devote for this town hall, and people inside the community come and present ideas that they want to move forward. So imagine that you don't like something on sustainability. Well, instead of complaining, we tell you, okay, we fund your idea, but you execute it. And it's been going on very well. So of course, this the ideas. Afterwards, we have a jury, and we have members of the student committee and sustainability clubs. We have our foundation. So we have different IE representatives, and if you get a positive vote, we fund it. And this has really worked very well. For example, we have an amazing project. One of our professors wanted to end up with the food waste in the Segovia campus, okay, because he said that we threw away, he had everything calculated, 7 or 9 kilos of food to the bin every day, no? So with the design students, they built up some little houses with worms, okay, so now we have, and we funded that project, and now we have these worms eating all of our food waste, and we produce this very rich tea that we use for our orchards. So, I mean, there are things coming on that are good, but I think it's important that we let the community lead. Okay, so what is it that they want to do? And there needs to be a lot of communication in that sense. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for mentioning this. And we also see a lot at the CIVICA level when we work together as universities at bottom-up initiatives that work the best. And actually, we also have a call coming up next year for student involvement and student initiatives. So I hope that there will be some student unions and student initiatives on the area of sustainability, and they can apply for funding and do things together. And that's where the power of a network is really, I think, promising. So I'm quite curious about what the students will propose, but I'm pretty sure that there will be some ideas about how to improve sustainability. And as you mentioned, Tricia, we had in the past a group of students from around the CIVICA universities working on a green campus proposal. So we really see a lot of interest to collaborate across borders on these topics. But now I'm pretty sure that our participants would be very curious to know a bit more about what happens after graduating from universities, because one of the key topics of today is career perspectives. So Isabella, I'd like to get back again to you and ask how we can prepare our students for the current and future job market, which increasingly demands sustainability skills and sustainability values. So what do you do at a university?
Yeah, but this is very important, and it's good for us, the people who are here today, because we love sustainability, no? So there's been a rise in the demand for this sustainability jobs, as you were saying, because the world needs to transform, they need to transition, okay, and it's going to take time. So in my opinion, the jobs that the new jobs, or they call it the green jobs. It's not a perfect term, but we will use that. Okay, so these green jobs are growing at a rate of 22% per year, while the skills, the people that are prepared, are growing at a slower rate. Okay, so at 12%. So there's a gap. Around 10% of these jobs aren't covered. Okay, so it's a great opportunity for those that want to study this type of programs, because you know that there are good job perspectives out there. Okay, so that's something I want to say. But it's true that sustainability is permeating all sectors and all types of jobs. So even if you don't want to specialize, I mean, or pursue for a specific program, I do think it's good that the students try to integrate sustainability, or to take courses, or to go to I mean, what we do, and I'm sure if the other universities do it too, to universities that are integrating sustainability transversally, because all of the jobs out there are demanding at least a 10% actually of the job descriptions include one of these green competences. So basically, whatever you like, if you include the ingredient sustainability or green competences, it will be much easier for you to find a job. That's my takeaway.
Thank you. These are very important numbers, right? So 10% of job ads requesting some sort of sustainability skills. That's massive, and that's a lot of training we have to do. So really important. And Trisha, now I'd like to turn to you from the Hertie School. What you presented a bit the sectors our alumni work in, but maybe could you detail a bit more what our alumni do? And in particular, you presented private sector or public sector academia. Sorry, I see you're busy. So could you elaborate a bit on what it means to work on stability in very different sectors?
Yes, so sorry about that. So at the Center for Sustainability, we have a list of alumni, and that we kind of keep in touch with. I hope it's not too loud now. But essentially what we've seen is that a wide range of our alumni do end up in the private sector. And so we see, like Isabella mentioned, a lot of them working in sustainability officer positions or doing sustainability work within companies. And we're seeing that in businesses, banks, NGOs, but as well as working in think tanks, doing policy work, as well as consultancies. And this can be in a range of different sectors. We're also seeing many of our we're also seeing a range of our alumni in going into research as well, specifically at other universities, but also research centers here in Berlin. And then many in the public sector. So in a lot of government offices and a lot of ministries, we see in local government as well. And since our student body is incredibly international, we see many students actually going back to taking what they learned at Hertie and going back to their home countries and applying that there and working in the government offices there or in organizations there as well. And I don't know if I got the last part of your question. There's a couple of people had jumped into my room.
No, that was it. I know the Hertie campus, when you book rooms, people try to steal them. I think it's the same everywhere. Yes, thank you so much, Trisha. And I think this is also very characteristic of all three universities. Bocconi and IE are also incredibly international, right? So I think, and it is so interesting when you study and want to work in sustainability to have these perspectives, global perspectives from all continents. With also people who have some work experience maybe, or who have studied from different programs before they joined. And I think that is something that is really also specific of many CIVICA institutions, that we connected to our local community, but we're also extremely international and have lots of programs in English, attracting students from everywhere. So now that we've discussed several aspects, but I think an important aspect also of integrating into career perspective after is being prepared with maybe some career services and also with corporate partnerships. And so Veronica, maybe you can tell us a bit more and maybe name one example of a corporate partner interested in recruiting students after they graduate from Bocconi University or other universities.
Yes, sure. Thank you. As mentioned before, we have a partnership with the Caring Fashion and Luxury Group that is very much interested. You know, it's a very common topic, the sustainability of fashion. So I think it's a very interesting point. If I can add one more, let's say, perspective, many many students also start working in consulting at Accenture, Boston Consulting Group, the Big Four, where they face different ways, different problems and issues where sustainability is required, where innovation and inclusion must be brought into a company. So I think this is another outcome of this kind of studies, the consulting, I would say.
Thank you. So now I'd like to ask our audience, if you have some questions, please, we're happy to answer your questions. If you don't really dare asking them in person, you can also ask them in the chat. No. If there are no questions, maybe I'll ask one last question to our speakers, and that would be more focused on career services and what are the different services that are offered to students to prepare for their future career in sustainability. If we could again start with you, Veronica.
Yes, I think that as Isabella mentioned, you have to have also some sustainability skills or interest or knowledges in your CV to make your application more successful in everyday's world. It's something not required, I think, but very much welcomed and appreciated. So this can really open up a lot of opportunities in different kinds of companies, in my opinion.
Yes, Tricia, now to you, maybe what are some career services at the Hertie School? And you also have a specific question in the chat if you want to answer later.
Yes. How do I see the chat? I'm still trying to.
So the question is whether you considered pursuing a law degree and maybe specializing.
Okay, so I'll start with careers. So we, like the other two schools, also have a career development office here at the Hertie School, and so they organize a lot of networking events. They do a lot of like one-on-one mentorship programs with students to help them fix their CV, help them prep for job interviews. We have a lot of webinars that are focused on how to find a job in Berlin, how to find a job in maybe a German-speaking company, things like that. And so that's very much part of the what they do at career development. And we work at the Center for Sustainability very, very close to them. And yeah, I'm trying to see the chat. I, for some reason, can't seem to access it. But you say why I decided not to do a law degree. Well, I mean, actually, for me, I didn't think it was really necessary to do a law degree. I knew that I wanted to work in policymaking and climate and energy policy. And I felt as though that coming to a policy school would be the better fit and actually maybe help me get into policy making a lot quicker than going through the law program. And I come from North America where it's a little more extensive and it takes a little longer to do a law degree. So that's essentially my reasoning.
Yes, thank you. But I think that it's true of most of our universities that we also have either legal schools or lawyers also working at our school. And usually, even within policy programs or business programs, you have some sort of legal training, maybe not lawyer level, but you have an understanding of law, which is extremely important in all sectors. And I think that's what also our universities do very well, is bring different disciplines because you also need this legal perspective to tackle certain issues. So it's not entirely, I think, far away and completely disconnected, but of course it's not as specialized as a law degree, and you bring different disciplines and perspectives. Now, Isabella, maybe you can go to you can present a bit more how career services work at your universities, or what type of services you offer to prepare for careers after. And then we can also answer Shamita's question in the chat. What are the best career pathways into climate and energy in both the private and public sector? Do you suggest applying on LinkedIn, or is a personal connect recommended? Oh, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, it's not an easy question. So maybe I will answer I don't know if I fully answered your question, Enora, but I might give some hints to Shafer also. So I don't know if I did the right pronunciation, so sorry. So I do think that finding the right position or the right job is not an easy job, and it's an ongoing process that you need. So it's not only about of the knowledge that you need to develop, but also how your skills and your ambitions and your personal goals fit with a position. Okay. In that sense, I do think that you need to do, and that's what we try to do from our careers department also, not only matching jobs with people, but also from the very beginning when our students start whatever program, trying to do this reflection, this analysis, this like more psychological profile, let's say it this way, so that you yourself also get to know who you are and what would be the best match. So I guess when you ask about pathways for climate and energy, I mean, that's a very broad question. What is it? Climate policy? Do you want to work in environmental sciences for climate adaptation, nature-based solutions? So I guess it's not only the overarching theme, which could be climate and energy, but what are the more specific tasks that you like to do and that you are good at, and that would you enjoy waking up in the morning and going to your work and doing so. So I guess I didn't answer, but that's my way, the way I see it.
Thank you. Yes, and maybe also to complement a bit about this, I think that all our programs, they include not only knowledge about certain sectors, which is extremely important, but also particular skills, right? Sometimes also soft skills, but also different types of skills. To talk about the Hertie School, we would have more like policy analysis skills, and these are transferable across sectors. So I think it's important to reflect both about the sector, what you're interested in, but also about the type of skills you build. And it can be very different depending on the type of job and the sector, even though some of these skills would work in any sector. So it's indeed quite a complex question, and it's important for us to make sure that we train people with skills that are transferable from one sector to another, because maybe you go into sustainability, but you discover that you're quite interested also in this other topic. It doesn't mean that you cannot apply the skills you've learned and acquired into another sector. So I think this is true of many programs that we have in our universities.
You have to do what you like best. You have to do what you like best.
Exactly. And you mentioned, Isabella, that these skills are in high demand. So if what you like best is also what is really requested on the job market, that's the best scenario. So our time is up, unfortunately, but I'd like to really warmly thank our experts and also, of course, our audience. Thank you also for your questions in the chat. We will send you the recording and the presentation, and all our colleagues are really happy if you stay in touch, and if you ask your questions directly, do not hesitate to get in touch with us. Have a great day, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.